Hi, this is Mike Manrad, aka Crude Solutions, and I'm here to talk to you about ClickFix and Fake CAPTCHA, a topic I'm really passionate about. First of all, if you are experienced and knowledgeable about ClickFix and you don't want to hear the basics about it, skip to the slide near the end where it says demo at the top left in blue, and just focus on that one. But for everybody who wants to learn more about ClickFix, stick with us and we'll walk through it. Also, I'm presenting work on behalf of my colleagues Christian Talon and Ezra Woods and several other friends. A whole bunch of us are collaborating together on this stuff. So, introducing ClickFix. It's a growing trend. It's flying under the radar. Microsoft Defender Investigations team reported it recently constituted nearly half of all recent initial access attempts involving malware. It's rapidly becoming a preferred approach for info stealers and access brokers. And yet, obviously, things facing the internet or going after user accounts. These are common vectors. But if you want to get malware to run on an end user host, ClickFix seems to be the way to do it. And we have an example there, but we will get to that more in the demo. So what is ClickFix? It is a social engineering attack where users are tricked into fixing an issue in a way that allows for attacker-controlled code to run. Often this involves a fake CAPTCHA en route to resources. It could be like a link in an email or a message, compromise legitimate websites that serve up a fake CAPTCHA and then return to the original or requested resource. It could be like obviously age-old malvertising. And typical outcome, info stealer malware or RAT or RMM. I mean, RMM install, I need to do more testing with it, but it seems like this would be a slam dunk for the lighter weight, quieter RMMs that will install in user space. And check out both LOLRMM.io and check out our project AutoRMM as well for some test scripts for that you could also try this with. But the use case that I think is really interesting is just the scenario of how easy it is to get users to fall for this and how devastatingly effective it's been. I mean, if we really think about it, users are used to jumping through all sorts of hoops for CAPTCHAs these days. It's like it'll read it out loud. There's text that, heck, I can't decipher half the time. I do so badly at bicycles and crosswalks, and like, is that little white triangle and the other tile part of the crosswalk or not? Maybe I'm like an AI and I just don't know it, but I struggle with real CAPTCHAs. So as CAPTCHAs continue to escalate to deal with AI, automation, all these things, users are used to them becoming a pain. So why not, to a regular end user, follow these weird instructions like WinR or type in CMD as we do with our demo later, hit Control V, enter, and voila, it's great. I was redirected to my resource. CAPTCHA success, we won. Again, we see an example from a Microsoft blog, great resource to go read more. So as an experiment on this, I like walked all over RSA asking about ClickFix of CISOs, tech startup founders, and it's amazing how many had never heard of it. Now, the awareness went up a bit when I called it fake CAPTCHA, but still really low overall awareness for ClickFix. According to ESET, I think I've seen this quoted a couple different times. I've seen it quoted as greater than 500% and 517%, but whatever it is, ESET reported a dramatic increase in ClickFix last year. And of course, to me, the real hallmark, MITRE is tracking it as an attack tactic for malicious copy and paste. Boy, does that bury the lead, but yes. ClickFix started as a Windows thing, but it's really been trending lately for Mac OS and Linux. And it's actually more appealing, perhaps, for Mac OS and Linux, because Windows, you can get all sorts of malware to run. But Mac OS, as Ezra and I talked about, based on work we did with support from Brandon Stevens and Daniel Addington as well. Like we talked about at DEF CON last year, like getting regular malware to run on a Mac OS takes a little more work than Windows. But ClickFix style payloads, as Ezra demonstrated at DEF CON Demo Labs last year, work just fine and tend to slide under the radar for detection. So again, like at last year after summer camp, we released Mac OS ZSH Linux Bash one-liner script payloads with the release of our C2 framework BeaconatorC2. And at the time we presented them, they evaded EDR on a fully patched, up-to-date Mac OS system and just worked. So we're working to actually, on the Beaconator front, build out some more robust resources to empower red teamers, internal purple teams to start testing ClickFix scenarios, seeing, do our users fall for it? Do our tools pick it up? Sometimes the answers to that question are not quite as good as we hope. So you've got the URL or the QR code for Beaconator C2. And if you go to Beaconator C2 and beacons, I just added a folder last night called ClickFix something or other. So go check out that folder. I'm going to add more. And then we will also add an additional repo that's linked to from Beaconator C2 that provides more of like some web hosting quick start kits. Boy, I can't talk today. Quick start kits to get started with hacking clicks. See, maybe that slip up was serendipitous there. So we're going to get to kind of this demo, and I actually pre-recorded it. One, because as some of you may realize by now, I do all these videos as a one-take YOLO with no edits. And I botch that up a lot worse if I'm trying to demo and think while I talk. But it also lets us time travel. So I'll pause here. Here we have our Beaconator C2 framework. Again, Ezra's done such a great job with taking a project that a bunch of us contributed to and just making it super extensible and making the UI amazing. So shout out to Ezra there, but you can see the host that I've tested this with a bunch of times is offline. And we're going to go over to that host next. And what I have here is just basically, I'll pause there for a second, was just basically like a static fake of a website, but you click it and it redirects to this. Now, in reality, that would be a sponsored ad, but for me to sponsor a malicious ad and put this thing on the internet, not super ethical unless I've got some pretty good safeguards around how it's behaving. So for this demo, it's all local. So you can see here, we've got instructions. The version we're doing here, there's a little bit of a typo there. We're actually going to type CMD, but you get the general idea. So click to verify, it loads a payload to the clipboard. And the user, of course, I'm going to type this in and pull up a prompt. And I'm going to be a good user and verify myself by hitting Control V. And you can see a beacon initiates. We go back over and we're just going to launch calc to show we have remote control of that host. It's on a polling system, so that'll take a sec. And verification to continue, and voila, we get to GitHub like we expected. But there's a calculator. That shouldn't be there, right? So that means our host is pawned, it's compromised. No, of course, this basic testing demo is not representative of perhaps the sophistication and great deal of effort that attackers put into making this work. But the idea is to provide a jump start to just begin to demo it, raise awareness, and start testing it, right? Because often if the attacker adversary bar is a 10, sometimes the bar to actually detect it or get around our controls may just be a 5. So if you have a test that's a 6, sometimes it still might surprise you what it does. So what do we do about ClickFix? We educate users. We disable CMD, terminal, CLI anytime we can, especially for like non-admin accounts. As we learned with our kiosk hacking research, disable WinR, WinX, any high risk, um, you know, Windows shortcuts that could lead to live off the land binaries. On that note, use app control, GPO, or whatever you can to harden live off the land binaries. Definitely check out the LolBass project. Check out app control. If you can't get all the way to full app control, as Spencer Alessi always says, at least use it to lock down, live off the land stuff that's high risk, remote management tools. You can accomplish a lot of the same things with custom IOAs in your EDR. A lot of good, valid ways to get there, but definitely get there. I would say everybody needs to pay more attention to the clipboard. Yeah, Ezra and I have more to follow on that, and he's doing some cool stuff in that space. More to follow soon. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Definitely, if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe, all that kind of thing, and look forward to seeing you all out at Hacker Summer Camp, where Ezra and I and Spencer will be talking about all sorts of fun stuff, and probably available to talk a little bit about this topic and how to deal with it as well. Thanks, and hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend.